So I'm Karen Warner. I'm with the CDE Foundation, and the STEAM Symposium for the past 6 years has been one of my responsibilities. And so if you've come here to find out about submitting a proposal for Spring Q that's featuring the STEAM Symposium in March of 2026, you are in the right place. And I have hopefully answers to all your questions. And I've got a bit of some slides to help just guide me so that I'm sure that I don't forget to tell you anything. But I'm basically here for you to answer your questions. So this won't be an hour-long kind of presentation. Some people, it is a drop-in, so some people may pop in and pop out, and that's fine. I am recording this, and I will send you the recording, and I will send you the slides. So if you want to relax and just listen for this first time and then follow up later by listening to the recording or watching the slides, you're welcome to do that. And to start us off, for those who came early, I was just wondering what you like to do to chill. I like to listen to music. It really helps set the mood for me and help me chill, which is why I started this whole session with music. But if you'd like to share what you do just to chill and relax, you're welcome to do that in the chat. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started with some of the information that I wanted to be able to share with you. Let me do this though. Let me pause. If someone has a burning question and they're like, wait a minute, I'm in the right place or the wrong place and they need to ask, let me just pause here in case you have a burning question. Okay, I'm going to bring the pause to a close and we're going to go on. All right, I'm pretty excited. I have been to the symposium for many years as a teacher. I was there as a presenter, and then, as I said, the past 6 years, it's been something that is one of my responsibilities. And so this is the announcement we made last month. We are going to be joining the Spring Q, which has happened, I'm guessing, the past 30 some years, and I had gone to the spring conference as well. We heard from people, it's really hard to go to multiple conferences in 1 year. And so we teamed up with Spring Q. They asked us to infuse a STEAM experience for the people who are their members. And we wanted to bring our network in to this innovative space. So I'm really excited to show you what's coming. And I probably am not going to do any more of that crazy stuff. So what's going to be happening at the Spring Q featuring the STEAM Symposium? We're going to go through, this is like our agenda. I'll tell you some of the key features so you understand what the event is about, how it'll be different from past symposia, and who the participants will be, what you can do to craft a compelling presentation, choose the appropriate tracks, what formats are they offering, and then I'll do a live demonstration of a test submission if you'd like to see how it goes, what it looks like, kind of do a little test drive. And then we'll have plenty of time for some Q&A. After all of that, you've got some questions. So as I mentioned, this is where we're going to be bringing together the two education communities, with the Spring Q community and the STEAM Symposium community. It's going to be a place that is really going to inspire people, we're hoping, show some innovative ways to bring joy into the classroom and really help show how we can integrate and not do things in silos for our students. So there will be around 200 sessions that'll be over 2.5 days. That will be March 19th through the 21st. And hands-on breakout sessions is really going to be where it's interactive. There's always some sit and get in anything because you got to first sometimes hear, or maybe you try something and then you hear what you just tried. But being interactive and hands-on is certainly going to be an emphasis. There will be a maker face STEAM zone, and there will be some breakout session classroom spaces associated with that. So if you are planning to submit something that would really be appropriate in a makerspace kind of area, we will be having that. And if you've been to the STEAM Symposium before, it'll be about that same size. I think it's about 5,000, 7,000 square feet. And then also, when you submit a proposal, it's not just those 2 classrooms. There are classrooms throughout the Palm Springs Convention Center. And so, one of those breakout rooms may also be available. There's an expo hall, and there will be keynotes and lots of networking opportunities. And as I mentioned, there'll be the hands-on makerspace. And so I know in the past when I was a presenter, I really enjoyed being there, getting to meet people, share the things I was doing in the classroom. This is a way for you to demonstrate your leadership in education. And I wanted to be sure, because if you've come to the symposium before, like last year in San Diego or before in Long Beach or Anaheim, this is going to be a little different for you as far as the registration for primary presenters. So I thought I'd just let you know that up front. So as you're making a plan, maybe you have a co-presenter and you have different funding sources, this may be important for you. If you are a Q member, which is a $40 a year membership, then you get a discounted rate for the spring Q. And if you are not a member, then presenters will pay $100. Otherwise, it's complimentary for primary presenters. And the way Spring Q has worked is that co-presenters pay the regular registration rate when they register, whatever that rate is. So I will give you information if this is something that is something you want to dig deeper into, that how to get the best rate so that you save about $95. I also wanted to mention up front, because we have about 40 people who signed up for this office hour, and I noticed some folks are exhibitors, maybe past exhibitors, and these breakout sessions are meant to be peer-led. They are not where if you are representing a product or work for a company, it's not a place to sell a product. They do have sponsored sessions that are available. And if you'd like to take that path, you would go to community.org for Q, and you would be able to talk to someone about that sponsored session. Because if you are representing a company and you submit and you are representing a company, they won't review it and it won't be accepted. So I don't want anyone to waste time putting in something that we know wouldn't be accepted. So this slide is just helping guide through how to get that best rate, become a Q member, and then you would register for the Spring Q. I've given you the link here. And then we would appreciate it if you would let them know that the STEAM Symposium sent you to that registration page. That would be great. So when we're looking at who comes to this event, it's quite a long list of people. And so hopefully as you're reading through this list, you see the people who are your intended audience. And it's, education leaders and people from all different walks who are helping students in the educational realm. When you go in to put when you're doing your submission, one of the things they'll ask you is, well, who is your presentation meant for? Is it a beginner, an intermediate, or advanced? So I would suggest, as you're thinking about what your topic is, maybe you already have your presentation ready to go, but you will need to think about who's your audience. Of those people that you saw on the previous slide, what skill level would you expect them to have to get the best experience coming to your session? You'll also be asked to select tags that are relevant to your session. So you would, if it's intended for those who are English language learners and and it has something to do, let's say with coding, you would select those two tags. And this is so that when the people are looking and they're using their mobile app, they would be able to do filters and be able to find the sessions that are closer to what they're looking to experience. So these are the the presentation tracks, the themes basically. And again, on the slide, I do have where you can go do a deep dive into each one of these, but it's AI in real life, curriculum in action, STEAM, digital decisions, mindful tech, and then leading for tomorrow. Now, you may have a presentation that is in the area of STEAM and maybe something else. Maybe it's STEAM and AI. So choose which one you think is a bigger area of emphasis for what you're planning to present. So when you're trying to think of your, if let's say you were feeling like, I'm not sure AI, or maybe I should say STEAM, there are guides within that you will see where it will tell you there on the left-hand side of the slide, where it will give you like, well, this is the focus of this type of presentation. Here's some guiding questions to help you think about, like, does this really align? And then there's a summary that explains, what they're looking for. So hopefully this will help you if you're stuck between two different tracks. And then there's also some presentation formats that you will decide. So if you have been to Spring Q before, you'll notice that the fourth one, the Transformative Educator, is something new. Maybe this is all new for you because you haven't been to this event before, but for everyone, the fourth one is new. And so I'm going to go through each of these just a little bit so that you can start to think about which one more aligns to the type of presentation you plan to give. So the concurrent session is a 45-minute session. This is where, this is the, I guess, more typical kind of breakout session that you might have been to or presented yourself. And so you're really going to be having them do something. People certainly want to have some kind of takeaway from it or some call to action, something that they can do after they've had their time with you. And then what's called Q Exchange is also a 45-minute session, but this is where you would have like a panelist or some panelists and a moderator. So instead of like you're in the room and you're walking around and giving information and watching people maybe do some hands-on activities, this would be where people would hear and have a panel up there that they could interact with. And then there's a 90-minute Q Lab. And so it's 90 minutes because we realize when you're doing something hands-on, maybe you've demonstrated, now people are building something, maybe it's even something that they're building that they would take back to the classroom themselves. You have 90 minutes for this type of session. And so typically it's about 10 minutes of the person facilitating, really getting people started, getting them to know the materials, getting them logged on, depending on what it is. And then most of the time is exploration, reiteration, doing some collaborations. So that's what the 90 minutes, and people do want to leave with something. Maybe it's not something physically, maybe they've created something online, but they do want to have a takeaway. And then I was mentioning the Transformative Educator format, and this is the new format that they have, which is 20 minutes. And so this is really where there is an idea that maybe you are thinking about a presentation you'd like to give, at the end of 2026, and you want to try it out on someone and say, hey, you know what, here's some ideas. I'd like to really interact. And so this would be a place where you could explore ideas or maybe do a demonstration of one thing. So it's going to be pretty tightly one idea is about all you're going to probably get to in 20 minutes, or maybe you have a new resource. Maybe you've created a new website that has curated resources and you just want people to see it, maybe test it. That's what this 20-minute transformative educator session would be for. So once you've submitted your presentation, there's a scoring rubric. And so I thought I would just go through to let you know what sorts of things are they looking for this event. So for sure, because you want to make yourself stand out from the crowd, you want to have a session title that not only is informative to let people know what they're coming to learn about, but also it helps if you have a hook to get people's attention so that they will notice your session and want to come so they don't miss the great content that you have. So the other thing that the reviewers will be looking for is how well does this session really reflect the intentions. So if you're doing, for instance, like that transformative educator, are you focused on one idea, something that really can be accomplished in 20 minutes? Because it would be very frustrating for you and for the people coming to the session if really it was an hour-long presentation and you only got to the first 20 minutes. Another thing they're looking for is the relevance and timeliness. Is this something that is happening? Are you addressing something that's happening now, that's a challenge now in education? Or there's some new research that you're trying to bring out, or some data you want people to consider. So something that is showing that it's relevant to the people who are, paying and coming to attend the event. And then, is it clear to the person who's reviewing your proposal that it has clear outcomes, that it's actionable? I know from the STEAM Symposium, when we get feedback surveys, people always really appreciate having something. Maybe it's a call to action, like go back and talk to your, parent community about these opportunities for students, something that people can take and feel like when they get back on that Monday after the event, they have something to talk about, something to share, and an action to take. And then what about the innovation and vision of what you're presenting? Is this something that is helping people to think outside the box, to think into the future perhaps, something that really gets their creative juices flowing? Is there maybe some sort of new approach that people wouldn't have considered and you're bringing that to their attention? And then the educator voice and perspective, is this something that educators will come to and be able to relate to it and say, yes, I can see myself in this. I can see my colleagues being moved by this. So, is it authentic to you, for one thing? Is it speaking to who you are and your experience? And is it speaking to those who are going to learn from your experience? And then just the clarity, are the reviewers able to read it? Is it readable? Are there a lot of formatting errors that would tell them, grammatical errors that would tell them that maybe you didn't carefully review before you sent it to them to review? And so I just want to mention, this is my fun friend Omar, who gave a session this summer, and he really thought about the description of what he was going to be teaching, and got people really into this idea of chefing it. So in your description, be sure you give some highlights of the tools and what really is making this unique. It's like, have people where they feel like, I can't miss this session. And hopefully that as you're going through and thinking about the wording of things, think about it also from the person who's going to be reading your description. Is this something that you can capture their attention and have them feel like, boy, I got to go to this. It's my number one choice as I'm looking at breakouts. And as you're looking at your bio, you may have a bio that you typically use, cut and paste. I know I do. But think about it with the lens of the people who are going to be coming to this event. Maybe you want to tweak your bio, because this is really going to give you an opportunity to let the selection committee, as they're reviewing, know about you and what stories you have to tell, what experiences you have. So it could be an opportunity to connect. So to just recap, a successful conference proposal, it's clear, it's unique, it's authentically you. And also think about your title and description. You really want to show how people are going to be able to use what they learn in your session in their own work environment. And that will make a big impact on the reviewers. And as I mentioned, what are your takeaways or your call to action? So I'm going to stop there for a moment because that was a lot. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into the portal and let you see it. But before I move on to the next thing, I want to give you a chance to reflect on what I've just said. If you have any questions, I'm here for that. And you're welcome to come off mute, or you're welcome to put it in the chat. Okay, I'm going to close this opportunity to ask me a question in this 1 second, and I'm going to go ahead. Oh, do you have your hand up, Jonathan? Hi, go ahead.
Hi. I'm Jonathan Bajor from Rediscover Center in Los Angeles. We do sustainable maker education. When I heard you talking about grabbing people's attention, I thought using controversy. Either take a controversial position, like no AI in K-12 education, or teaching without AI. And that might make more, and was that the kind of thing that would go into the AI field, or maybe over in STEM, and it's like how to support a program that has no AI in it, if say that's what my district wanted.
Right. I mean, I think you could, it depends on the whole content of what your information you're trying to get across in the end, because yes, you want to capture their attention, but if they come and it's like, oh no, he's saying actually, this really has nothing to do with AI, it's really about wellness and STEAM, then it's, oh, yeah, should have gone. So I think just think about the totality of what you have. I do think that, having, sometimes people put like the word chocolate in the title, and it's not a session about chocolate, but they're like, oh, got your eyeballs now that you want to come to this. So, you can be provocative, but also make sure that people don't feel like when they got there, oh, I was duped, I thought he said this, but actually it's that.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Okay. Sounds good.
Thanks for the question.
Karen, I have a question for you as well. So on the slide that you went over the tags, I think it was like, I have a slide 10 where it says, please select only tags relevant to your session. Are those the only tags in the application?
Let's go, let me open up the portal and we'll see exactly what's there. Because I hate to say, yes, that's all it is, because I did a test earlier, like a month ago, and I don't know if they've changed and added anything. And so that's a great question. Are you able to stay for just a minute or so and let me get into the portal?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Yes, I can stay.
I think that's a great question. Let's look.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll be sure to pause when I get to that point so we can read through it all. Okay, so we're going to do a test proposal. Now, because you've likely never been in, you're going to need to create an account. I've created an account, and so let's see if it's going to let me in. Okay, so this will look a little different for you than me because I've been going in and doing some tests. but you should, once you set up your account, you'll come in and be sure you use the same email address for this that you typically try to, or you read often, the inbox, because I've seen before where people use like a work email for one, and then they only check personal or vice versa, and it gets confusing. So select which one makes more sense for you. So I did my work email. And so I can see what my submissions are, and you can see that I have 2. And the deadline will be September 26th at midnight. And up until that time, this edit button will be active. And so I can go in and create that. So here's home, and it's giving me the scoring rubric. We went through this. There were 8 of those. Here's some tips and tricks for successful submissions. I gave you an overview of that. And then it's giving you the information about the speaker fee. So if you have co-presenters, you may want to talk with them strategically, like, does it make more sense for one of you rather than the other to be the primary presenter? So we're going to submit. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll scroll down just so you can see. Here's the information I was telling you about the session types. And you can click on this and read more in depth about that. And then there's the conference tracks. Again, I went through that, but you can go deeper if you would like there. And then here are the spring audiences, spring Q audiences, and then also the timeline. So you can submit your abstract by clicking the button. There was also one farther up. And the first thing it's going to ask you is the author details. So this is your primary presenter. And because I've submitted one before, it remembers me. So if you do more than one submission, you don't have to enter this part in again and again and again. You can put your headshot in and also your bio. And this is where you would add your co-author information if you know it at this time. And then you'll, they have a code of conduct and speaker agreement information you will read. And then that speaker fee policy, just so they're sure that you're clear on that. And then you'll save and continue. Now this second page is, there's only 2 pages. We did the author. Now we're going to get to the submission. So the presentation type, maybe I want to do that hands-on Q lab. I used to be a kindergarten teacher, so I love to get messy. And so, you know, what it is, I'm going to say test messy, because I'm going to have a messy thing. So you'll write in there what outline or schedule for your proposed time frame. So I might have said, well, you know, first there'll be 2 minutes of this, and then 5 minutes of that, and then 3 minutes of this, and then the rest of the time will be hands-on exploration. And then I'm going to select the track. And so I love STEAM, so mine's going to be STEAM, Building Skills, Spark, and Confidence. My session title, and I'll say, you know, don't miss this test. And then this is where I'd put my description. And I recommend to you that it's not a great editor, do it in a different doc and then just cut and paste over here, because these
Quick question, is that the public description, or that's like a longer description that would be used by the evaluating committee?
So this is what the evaluating committee will be using and reading.
But like, should we phrase it as describing it to them, or phrasing it as if we're describing it, that would go into the conference catalog?
So the conference catalog will be down here.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, great question, because I know that, like, in the past, because you have submitted proposals and presented quite a number of times, we would explicitly say, oh, here's for the mobile app and here's for the reviewers. So just transfer that knowledge. This is going to be for the reviewers and this will be for the mobile app. So again, we're just going to put test here so somebody can delete all this when they find it. And then here are our Q audiences. Oh, we already had that. I was just going to do a screenshot for you, Justine, but we already have that one. You were actually asking me. I'm going to say I'm doing all these people as my audience. And this is is it beginner, intermediate, or advanced? So I'm going to say I'm looking for the beginners to come and learn from my session. And these are the tags. So I think these do mirror what I had in the presentation.
Yeah, I think they are the same.
So I would say if you find that like these are not speaking to what I want to speak, I would put in the description, you know, this is how I would tag this, or, you know, what your tags, or you could even email, I mean, you could email me and I could pass it on. You could email, I can give you the folks at Spring Q that you would email and just say, you know what, I am talking about this topic. What would you recommend? But I think I would put it in the in my title, if it's possible. I don't know what it is exactly that you're looking for, but maybe in the title, maybe in the description, and then in the part so that people can find you.
Yeah, I just thought, because we've presented at the STEAM Symposium before, and I felt like there were tags for like art or, you know, because we're all about art. And so like it doesn't fit into any of that, but it fits into, I forget how the one before was worded. It would fit into like the STEAM category. So I guess I'm just not sure what the purpose of tags is versus like what are the other things?
Right. I am going to take that question and I'm going to take it to the planning team because I completely agree with you. Like this, for the things that we would be looking for in the STEAM category, I do notice that this tag is not, you have to give a target audience, but you don't have to tag it. So maybe you don't tag.
Okay.
If it's not there. And then I will, after this, get your contact info, and then I'll get a better answer for you. But at this point, I wasn't part of the deciding on this, so I don't know the thinking behind it. But yeah, I do art and everything I do, so I would want to click art.
Yeah.
So let me find out.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to click art or something like that, then what could they do? Because there's not an other button for them to, for you to be able, but for sure in your title, I would say, you know, art and how to make, you know, how to help kids find their path in life or something. Put art in your title.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that, and I will follow up with you. So I'm going to say that I'm doing coding and equity and leadership. And so this is where I had mentioned that if you have, if you wanted a sponsored session, then you don't want to submit here. But let's say you're a teacher and you love Pear Deck and you're like, oh, it's transformed my classroom and I'm going to just talk about it. And Pear Deck isn't paying me to come say anything. It's my own experience. But let's say Pear Deck's like giving me free things and they're paying for my travel there. They're maybe not paying me, but they're giving me some sort of compensation. Then I would need to explain why, you know, they paid for the product. So this is just a chance for the reviewers to understand, like, you're a teacher, you have this product you love, you're, you know, not being paid for them, but you are getting some compensation. Or maybe you're not, but you choose what makes more sense. And then I'll say save and continue.
Can I ask a quick clarifying question about that?
Sure.
So I'm the CEO of Prime Med Academy. I'd like to present an interactive workshop on the cardiovascular system. I'd be approaching it from my perspective as a medical doctor and a former educator, analyzing clinical cases and demonstrating how we build language acquisition, math skills, critical thinking skills. I do represent my organization, but I want to confirm, would it be acceptable for me to facilitate in this way, given that I would not be selling or promoting a product directly, but rather focusing entirely on educational content and student engagement?
So, I mean, it's hard for me to determine without knowing everything, but I would say, you know, like, let's say I had some sort of math curriculum that I, as a teacher, had written and I'd used it in my classroom, and it was, I really, feel like it has impact. But I know that if I present and I'm showing, here's this curriculum that I've used, and you too can have it for $100, then even though I'm a teacher, I am selling a product. So I would need to have the sponsored session. And then once you have a sponsored session, you get the room, you can do whatever you like in that room. It can be everybody get on the floor and count marbles, and that's part of my board game for my math thing. Or you can be like, I can do anything I want in my sponsored session. So I'll have to have you make the determination on whether you think sponsored session makes more sense or whether this pathway does. At the end, I'll give you the contact information, and you could email, his name's Paul Case, and you could say, hey, Paul, what do you suggest? Because I don't want you to waste time putting it in if then it's not going to get reviewed.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Certainly. So now I am on page 3, but page 3 is just reviewing what is there. So I'm looking to make sure all my details are right. I can see everything that I've entered in. Yours will be longer. I just wrote test. And then I can go back previous if I'm like, oh, I need to go back and change that. I can just save it. Let's say the phone rings and I need to take that call. Then I can save it and come back. Or maybe now that I've seen some of the questions, I'm like, I'm going to need to think about that a little more. Just save it. And then when you click submit, let's say it's everything you wanted it to be. Remember, you still have a chance to go back to where it was my submissions, and you can still edit until after the deadline. So what you'll get is a immediate congratulations. Here's your submission. Here's your confirmation number. If I want to see my submissions, I click up here, my submissions, and I could maybe decide, oh, wait, I found out my colleagues already submitted that. I didn't mean to. You can withdraw it as well before the deadline. So I'm going to pop back to the presentation. I just wanted to show you this is what you can expect to see after you've submitted. And because I just did that, I'm sure in my inbox there's going to be an email, and I just wanted you to know what it will look like, because since it's Spring Q featuring the STEAM Symposium, you'll notice we have, like, I just didn't want you to think, oh, this is spam. I wanted you to recognize what it'll look like. And this is going to tell you, okay, well, it's this title and this author. And then it gives you the community@q.org that you can contact if you have any questions. And Paul Case is the person. So Damien, this is a person you would want to email and just at community@q.org and say, hey, Paul, here's my question. I talked to Karen and I'm not sure which way to go. Guide me, please. Because he's the one who would help make that determination. And this is just a reminder that you can continue to edit, because sometimes people are nervous to get started, but it's like you always have time to come back in. So what's the timeline? So September 26th, the submissions will close at midnight. And I know from experience that there are plenty of people who love to wait till the last day. So there you go. You get till midnight on the 26th. October 31st, it'll be a treat, hopefully, for you, that you'll get your notification that you've been accepted, and the speaker registration portal will open up. And then the speaker portal is where you would go in and you'd be able to, like, change your bio, or if you have a different headshot and your hair's grown and you want to show out that you've got longer hair now, you can change your headshot. And I just put this slide in there in case you're talking to someone who would be your co-presenter, just to help them have the step-by-step guide on being able to save the money when they go to register. So on this slide, I just put some other links. The team at Spring Q also did an office hour. And so this is about, I think it was like 49 minutes. And so you can go, if you're like, well, I want to hear another person's way of putting this information out there, you're welcome to go listen to that. They also provided slides, so you can look at that. And then the slides for what I've just given you is listed there too. So if you just wanted to share one slide with your co-presenter so they can catch up to you if you're here and they're not here, this might be something you'd want to share. After today, I will share this recording with you as well. You're going to be busy if you just watch recordings. So that's all that I have as far as what was planned out. So I'm going to first thank you all for being here with me. And for those of you who are watching the recording, I hope this was helpful for you too. And my time is yours. So I'm here to answer questions. And I do know we have the one question that's still out there about what's the purpose of the tags and what do you do if there's not a tag there that you feel is important as it aligns to your presentation. That one I will follow up on. So what else? I'll give you some process time too.
I have another question that's not exactly related to presentations, but in years past, we have gotten an exhibitor booth as well as registrations and presented as an organization. Haven't seen any information about exhibitors yet. Do you know what the timeline on that is?
So if you go to, let me be sure I'm giving you the right place because it is open for registration for exhibitors. So I think it's springq.org or that community@q.org. If you said, hey, Paul, I'm interested, talk to Karen, and if you give me information, that's probably the easiest thing rather than you go click around on their website.
Great, I see it now. I was looking at the CDE site, not seeing anything, but
yeah,
it's over on Q. Got it.
Yeah, they handle all the exhibit booths. Exactly. Good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's see. One thing I was thinking about is, I know in years past, people were like, well, I want to go ahead and register, but I don't know if I'll be accepted or not. Some people can only go to conferences if they're presenting. So you would need to wait, of course, to see. But some people are like, I know I'm going and I'm co-presenting. And so if you wanted to go ahead and register as a co-presenter, there's not going to be a difference in registration rate if you're a co-presenter or a participant. So I don't know if that helps with people as they're trying to plan out and budget. And then primary presenters, it is complimentary for Q members. So that might be something for you to think about. Do you want to become a Q member, the $40, and then get the Q member rate? And I will put in the chat just the link in case people do want to have just that registration. If you wanted to forward this to your co-presenter, then that would be the link to use to register for the event. And if you want, I mean, we still have time. You're welcome to go ahead and set up your account, go into the portal, play with it a little bit. And then if you get stuck or have a question, I'm right here. Thank you, Damien. Thanks, Teresa. I appreciate it. You were quite welcome. And I'll keep this open until 5 o'clock. So if you go off and think of something, come right back in. I'll be here. I just live here. I'm glad it was helpful. Thank you for coming, and thanks for being a presenter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. I was trying to write somebody on your list and then he left. So anyway, I will reach out to him on LinkedIn. Thank you so much.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.